back. Episode 89, Return to the M.A.C. M.A.C. Moss, Andrew, Carl.
Here was good. We back.
Another day, another dollar.
Yeah.
Yes,
Episode
indeed.
Steven Smith.
Steve Smith, Agent 89. Ice up, son.
Yeah, for sure. He's a
Favorite,
beast, bro.
favorite athlete. Well, I can't say favorite athlete. Favorite football player of all time.
Okay.
Is he?
Yeah.
Over Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Steve was first.
Yeah.
Steve was first.
He embodies Carolina
he
football.
wasn't on the original team, but he came shortly after. And I mean, he holds like every record we have. He's probably the best overall player that we had. I think Kuechly could give him a run, but the career getting shortened ended that.
Right. Yeah.
He could have ended up being like the best player in Carolina history, and there's no disrespect to Cam. We will talk about Cam today. I got much love for Cam, always have, but it grew even more this week after watching his little interview.
True indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge Steve Smith fan, honestly, even though I didn't. I like this mentality he played with, man. I think it's like.
He was a killer.
It's similar to like that Pittsburgh mentality, like hard nosed, tough type of dudes. I always wanted them like as a Pittsburgh Steeler, I guess, because he's like a improved version of Hines Ward. You know what I'm saying? Like a dude who can really like he's tough, but he has that big play ability too. Like every single play, a 50-50 ball. Like you've never seen anybody that was like his size who was so good at getting the 50-50 balls. Like he was out jumping quarterbacks. Every game, we were like, "Yo, how is this even possible? How are you winning like 75% of these 50 balls and you're 5'10"?
I was gonna say he's like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
Tiny man.
At the most, you don't see guys go up like that and get it. When
Like the
they're so
AI of the
small.
NFL.
That's not a bad comparison. Yeah, it's not a bad comparison at all.
That's a fair comparison.
And he just had that chip on his shoulder at
I
all
want to
times.
fight him.
Hell
that
no.
dude's probably.
Talk that shit too.
And he was trying to fight everybody.
Yeah. You know Steve Smith about it.
For sure.
You know he can back that shit up. It's just certain people who be like, "Yo, that ain't all just talk."
That's gonna be a bit of a scrap if we step into that ring.
Right.
It'll be a
That's
little bit of
not all
scrap.
talk. You gonna leave with something. You fucking with Steve Smith.
He's one of those dudes that honestly I was surprised when he went into broadcasting and stuff. I was surprised at how good he was. Because I just thought he was going to be like, he just seemed like such an asshole on the
He
field.
be having his moments.
Yeah, well,
he
he still is Steve. Like, he still doesn't
Still an
mind.
asshole. Yeah, he really is.
He doesn't mind speaking his mind and he'll ruffle some feathers, but I just was surprised that like he does the job well.
Yeah, true indeed.
That's my guy. Man, I was trying to be funny and threw the Ibrahimovic on because of the topic we got coming with his LeBron comments. I didn't even wear the Steve Smith joint. I feel stupid now.
Oh man,
Fucked up.
Missing
the disrespect.
My hate for LeBron. Just tunnel vision.
Seen nothing else.
Tunnel vision.
What happened with LeBron? Maybe I'm missing something.
We'll get to that. Nothing major, honestly. It was just
want to bring up some bullshit.
Ibrahimovic had comments that they're blowing up.
Yeah. That
Nothing
guy.
serious.
That guy.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he responded.
Well, we will certainly have to get to that then.
Yeah.
This week, anything that happened this week?
What happened this week? Nah,
I felt like I had something, but nothing is coming to mind.
I did too. Some local news.
What?
I don't know if y'all heard, formerly known as my cousin would say, Catalanis.
Oh, phase 2.
Phase 2 has been rebought and name changed and now is The Ridge.
The Ridge.
The Ridge. Shit is corny.
That sounds like some real white people
Shit is
shit.
corny. It's a white dude. It's a white dude that bought it, but yeah, sure.
I mean, I can't envision any niggas I know that say, "Hey, I want to go out to the Ridge."
To The Ridge. I thought Phase was dumb. They should have kept Catalanis. That was the most original name.
I don't even like that name.
I like Catalanis.
I think of like Catalanis. I think of like fucking.
Like a cattle.
Yeah, or like what's that fucking square dancing and shit. Like that's what I think of.
Right.
Like cowboys and fucking.
When I moved here, that's what it was called. And when I heard that first, I thought it was like a Western bar.
Yeah. I think of Spurs and fucking.
Yeah, it really was.
Shootouts.
I don't know. I don't know if the name
It's a funny
matters.
name.
It is a funny name. I don't know if the name matters. Quickly, it'll depend on what kind of stuff they're hosting, what they're able to put together.
Yeah.
To me, I can't imagine buying it right now.
Right.
I mean,
It probably was for the low at this point.
Probably
Because they've
so.
been closed.
But it does seem like we're moving towards being out and about relatively soon. But
Yeah.
We thought it was 2 weeks a year ago, so I wouldn't be super excited about buying a club right now. Do your thing, though. Do your thing.
I continue my ventures on HBO Max. Found another show to watch, Watchmen.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen. Y'all seen it? Have you seen it?
No, we haven't. We don't have HBO Max.
Yeah, I think it's on HBO. I think it's on HBO.
We don't have that.
Like HBO Go.
So, question for the audience. If you have a group of friends that all watch the same type of shit, and you're going to order a subscription service, say it's $15 a month, say it's HBO Max, wouldn't it make sense to ask the podcast, hey, y'all want to buy this for $5 a piece?
$5 a head every month? Can't beat it.
Carl doesn't think so. He bought it and just starts watching everything and telling us to catch up.
Well, no. I mean, originally we got it because we were like, shit, we can watch all of this stuff in a month. So it's like $14 to watch all of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Go load it up.
And then cancel this bitch. But I mean,
HBO's too good.
You can't go wrong with HBO though.
They're too good.
No, but it's too many streaming services out there, man. You just can't have it all. Something
you can if you split it with everybody. If everybody's putting in $5 for every streaming service, it's not that bad.
That is true. I don't know too many people that's playing for all their streaming services solely by themselves.
Nope.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's just something that escaped me once.
Why do you hate us?
I don't hate you guys. I'm very fond of you, actually.
It escaped us. You could still let us on today.
You just said that you had other plans.
Yeah, I have made other plans. I got other. I've got real friends.
Look, you moved on.
I've got real friends.
You moved on.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch that movie though. Fuck.
You talking about the Fred Hampton movie?
Yeah.
It's a fucking must.
I'm sure it is.
Of course it is.
It's a great movie, bro.
Just
I'm
need
not in
to
a
find
rush.
somebody
Someone's
that'll
always
help.
gonna be there, so I'm not in a rush.
Fred Hampton, man. I mean, I didn't know anything about Fred Hampton prior to watching the movie.
I didn't either, really.
I mean, I don't know nothing deep.
You know,
I knew about Fred Hampton.
young?
Yeah, he was a kid, basically.
He was 21 years old
I did not know that.
when he died. Yeah.
Shit crazy.
And
It's a good
watching
story.
that shit
Story that needed to be told.
further convinced me that the government killed Tupac Shakur. Further convinced me that's what happened.
I mean, I think any black entertainer that steps, or any black entertainer that makes some type of movement with their voice that has a following, you can make that assessment to them dying by the government. I think that's happening. I think it's happening to all of them.
I mean, it's not been that many that was like, that had a Tupac-like influence.
I mean, most
As far
recently,
as-
Nipsey. The things he was doing.
Yeah, but
shit he was talking about, the movies he was about to come out with.
Right, for
You know
sure.
what I'm
But still, Tupac was like people embrace thug life across the world. Nipsey didn't have that kind of impact.
I mean, sure. I'm just,
You know what I'm saying?
you know
It
what I'm
was
saying.
different. I get like while he was still, he was affecting his community and shit like that. That's for sure. But everybody wanted to be Tupac when he was you know what I'm saying? Like he had a global influence almost. So yeah.
Sure. I mean, how old was you when Tupac was in his reign? Like 6 or something? How would you know how much of an impact he had?
Man, you can look back on history, motherfucker. You don't have to be there
I mean, okay,
to necessarily experience the things or learn about them. I guess
seen
you have
all
to be
the
there to
docs.
experience it, but to learn about it, you can relive these things with all the technology and history that we have written about it today. So it's a feeling that you get from it.
Do your Googles.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I was probably Tupac died 96.
Yeah.
I was 4.
Sound
Still,
about right.
that was enough. I was saying thug life and shit. I might have been. I don't know.
You just saying thug life and shit. All
I
right.
don't know if I was or not. But yeah.
True shit. What we got though, fellas? Y'all have anything else this week?
I'm rich this week. I'm rich, bitch.
Me too,
I
bro.
heard you popping your shit.
Got paid,
I
son.
seen you popping your shit.
I got the tax returns. I got the annual bonus from work this week. I came up. I hit a lick, is what they say.
That's what it feels like.
It all went straight to the savings. I didn't spend anything, and it's not really that exciting. But damn, it feels good to have the money.
You're not gonna buy anything? You got anything that you want?
No, I'm less than $1,000 away from having that student loan money set aside.
Oh, well, you could.
So
You're in a
forget
good
that.
spot.
So forget that. Right now, we're pedal to the metal. Every dollar I can get for the next 2 to 3 paychecks, and I'll be done. And then we're going wild. buying everything. I'm making a list of everything I'm buying. I'm getting an air fryer. I'm getting a car. I'm getting a
new whip coming. They should say that first.
Nah, because it probably
the new whip coming.
He's not convinced.
Nah, it probably won't happen for real.
He's not convinced he's going to do it.
I really am a cheap person, to be honest with you. So it is hard for me to pay for a car when I have a car that works for free.
No, all right. So when you're in the market for a car, are you looking
cheap.
for are you just looking for something that you can just buy outright type shit? No, that you don't want.
Yeah, I'm looking at 5,000 or less.
Right.
I want to
get you a nice, reliable vehicle.
Really, all I want is a manual car, probably a Honda, just because that fits the price range. I'm going to call it a manual.
Oh, why is it
I'm going to call it a manual.
Nah, dude.
A big deal?
You say you want a stick? Nah, I do like a stick shift.
I've never heard anybody say that. I mean, most people say I want a stick.
A driving stick.
Yeah,
it is. I just didn't like the way you asked me about it.
Okay.
Nah, I do like. I had one car that was stick shift, and I had so much more fun.
Really? People say that shit, but
I used to drive a stick for a long time.
I don't know how to drive a stick.
My Mustang. My Mustang was a stick drivership for
It's a hard
8 years.
conversation to have, but
I don't know how to drive a manual car. I'm sorry.
I understand.
Yeah,
I didn't until
That might be man code. You got to learn how to drive a stick, bro.
Well, I don't think that you do. See, that's
not anymore.
Right. It's
got lucky.
It doesn't apply anymore. It's like motherfuckers saying that you have to, I don't know how to, solve an equation or some shit like that. It's like, no, we have technology where I can input the numbers.
I mean, not even
do
that.
the shit for me. I don't have to do
not
these
even
things
that.
anymore.
I mean, they have luxury cars that they only make with the stick shift, so it's not even like we have things that are better. I think it's the fact that you should be able to get into any vehicle and be able to drive it and pull off.
Unreal scenarios like, oh, what if you have to drive one in like.
It might happen. You might be in a situation where you have to drive a stick and you're going to sit right there and be stalling out the whole time, looking crazy.
You will not learn. You will not learn in the moment.
But look, the likelihood that car is probably what? 80% of the vehicles that exist are automatic vehicles. The likelihood is going to be an automatic vehicle that I need to use. It's not going to be a stick.
I'm just saying.
It's kind of like unreal scenarios people come up with.
It's kind of like
you don't know how to drive stick.
Right.
No, motherfucker, I don't.
But it's kind of like the argument I be having with James and them about their guns, how they feel like they need to have a gun for any situation that might go down, even though they've never been in a situation where they need their gun their whole life. It's like it's not going to be that likely. But I can understand okay, you need your gun, but if you're not putting yourself in positions where you need your gun all the time, it shouldn't happen to you.
I think it's more likely you would have to use a gun than have to drive a stick to get yourself out of a
or maybe not
scenario. I think that's.
I think both of those things are true. I think that's a decent comparison, but yeah, probably more likely for the one.
The probability of that is like. Are we talking about the Walking Dead type scenarios? What the fuck are we talking about here? What is happening in the world where you need to know how to drive a stick? And even if these scenarios occur, motherfuckers might not be driving anything. You need to know how to run. How about that?
Imagine 2 years ago, somebody is like, what if there's some kind of global pandemic and you've got to stay at your house and they won't let people leave? You're like, man, shut the fuck up. That's never going to happen.
Look where we are.
More likely scenario. But
I never would have learned except I was buying a car that I had to. I'm pretty sure I've told this story on here. So that's the only reason I learned. I'm glad I did now. And it's really not a big deal. Like when I say it's so much more fun, I mean, it's not like I go take a drive and I'm like, oh, God damn, this is fun. But I do enjoy it more than just regular car.
I guess, look, what do you do? Like, how do you do everything else while you're driving?
After a while, you just get, it's just regular nature to drive it like that once you get used to it. You don't even notice that you're changing gears.
For texting and driving, because you can't really text and drive as much if you're operating a stick, right?
Yeah, so the thing is, when you're driving around, you generally get up to a certain speed and you're going that speed for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like when you NASCAR racing because you got a stick. You're not switching gears every 5 seconds.
Right. That makes sense.
It is a little bit of a pain to text sometimes. I mean, there certainly has been times where I'm like, man, I don't want to have to turn up here because I know I got a downshift. Like, I got to get this off real quick. Trying to do it real fast. But overall, I prefer.
In most cases, when you're driving around the city, you're not going to go above your third gear.
Yeah, third, fourth.
Yeah. I mean, fucking foreign language to me, I tell you that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm rich. That's all that matters. So that felt good. That was a good week.
I started to take some money out and do the fucking spread and shit.
You would.
Maybe next week.
The Kodak spread?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe next week. I'll, get my little money fan and shit. You know what I'm saying? My money phone.
Do that before you come up.
Well, bro, you should do it too. We should do it.
We're gonna rob you. Hit a second lick.
Hilarious. This guy's hilarious. But what I won't do with my money is spend it all on drugs.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was directed at.
No. Talking about my man, the
Oh, I see where he's going into.
Real smooth. All right, so I thought that was the most interesting thing that happened in the news this week, to my knowledge. I saw earlier in the week, Dr. Carl Hart. Is his name right?
I think so.
As soon as I said it, I was like, was it Carl? It's definitely Hart. Anyway, Professor.
He has dreads too. Hold on.
Yeah.
He got old man dreads though, the super grays.
Yeah.
He's a professor at Columbia.
Yeah.
Columbia.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
graduated from Yale too. He said, I think, right?
Yeah, super smart dude. Obviously, I think he works in like psychology and drug type stuff, effects of drugs and all this kind of thing. Early in the week, story came out where he was like basically admitting that he uses heroin or has used heroin and doesn't think that drugs are near as bad as what they're portrayed, thinks they should all be legalized, and that was kind of the gist of the initial part of the story.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah. And which for the most part, I honestly agree with him. Like his take on everything, I think we do like over police those type of things. Like people who have addictions, they're not like bad people.
Yeah, locking them up ain't solving that issue.
Right. But that's not the problem that we're looking to solve. It's not like we're not really looking to help the people. We're just looking like to lock them up.
Even though they call them rehabilitation centers.
But we don't put them there.
Yeah.
If you do have an issue with a drug and stuff. But his thinking on it was a lot deeper than that, though. Just like really not to even like rehabilitate people, like to more so just find safer methods for them to use the drug, whatever they're doing recreationally, which that's completely fine with me. Just because people are going to do drugs regardless, so might as well make it a safer environment for them to experiment with those things.
I think legalizing that's a hard one for me because generally speaking, I'm in favor of just let people do what they want to do, let people make their own decisions and get the government out of as much stuff as possible. So like on one hand, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I think that seems like the best thing to do and just let people mess up on their own. But at the same time, like for hard drugs, like heroin and stuff that they're talking about, I don't think people have the ability to, I don't know. I don't know if it doesn't fully make sense to me to just make that legal. I get what you're saying and that people are going to do it anyway.
Do y'all know any functional drug addicts?
I mean, if it's like alcoholism,
or any drug. I mean, that's mostly the harder shit. But did you know they function?
I mean, I know plenty
of
functioning alcoholics.
Right.
Yeah, I know plenty of those. That's something I'm very familiar with. People smoke marijuana every day, so that's your functioning drug addict if that's something that you do. I know several of those people, and so
those are the two that I know.
Yeah,
I know people that use hard drugs, but it's hard to call them functional because it's like they don't have jobs or they get a job, lose a job, in and out of jail, be homeless for a little bit and then get back in good situations. So
right.
I don't know if I would really call them functional, but they are alive.
In my lifetime, I've known a good amount of people that do hard drugs regularly and drink and do all that stuff and still keep a job. They might have bullshit in their life, but they still make income. They still live their life. They do it for their kids or whatever. And I guess to an extent, it's their life. And if they're functioning and their life is still moving forward, even though they might be killing themselves over a long period of time because they're doing hard drugs, if they're still living their life and that's their choice to do hard drugs, the same way like you talking about alcoholics. You know, a person that drinks every day that's an alcoholic, they're shortening their life, they're fucking their life up. But if they're still living their life and they're content with what they're doing, then what can you say?
Right.
Well, to me, I agree with you 100%. And I think that that's easy to apply to someone like myself,
Right.
that doesn't have a family and I'm an adult.
Right.
Like if I want to fuck my life up, it is what it is. It's nobody else's problem.
Yeah.
But anybody that has kids, I mean, you know, we can argue it and get into like semantics on what is considered functional, what's not. But having that kind of environment is not beneficial for kids in general. So I feel like there is like, I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't have a real set. I'm definitely on one side or the other, but I do feel like we should try to make it not as accessible and not encourage that, because most people have families. And I think most people do end up impacting and affecting a lot of people around them beyond the small group of people that are single adults like myself.
But do you think you make it more accessible if you legalize it? Like, all right, so, I mean, my theory is just that, like, if you making stuff illegal or creating laws, that shit doesn't matter. It doesn't stop anything. So you're not making it any less accessible, I don't think, by making it illegal. I mean,
I don't think look, I don't see myself ever getting to this point. But if I was in a really fucked up situation, whatever, I think there are a decent amount of people that would never try anything beyond marijuana because they don't even know where to get it. They don't know where to get it. They don't want to go try to find it. They don't want to deal with all the shady stuff that goes along with that. So in a sense, I understand what you're saying. Like people that are addicted to crack are not deterred by, I could go to jail by it. But I think there are a large population that are like, that's a world I would never touch because it's not accessible to me and I don't want to deal with that. Whereas if it were like, you know, if it were available like a weed store is in certain places, I feel like you would find a lot of people that are like, I mean, it's legal. Why don't we check it out?
I think that's where an issue lies, though, because we know where you're going to find crack and heroin.
All right, but when we're talking about that, we have pharmacies. You know what I'm saying? That's what his point was, is the fact that we glorify some of these drugs, but these other drugs that are essentially the same thing, is just the fact that they're sold on the street, we vilify. And it's just like, why not try to regulate these drugs to make sure they are the safest and cleanest drugs? Because people are going to use them regardless.
Because you can abuse them no matter how you get them. You can abuse the drug,
from whatever it is. Adderall and methamphetamine are the same thing.
Percocets, Oxycontin.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, why not try to control it? And then also you have eyes on the people who are using it as well to try to give them better guidance with it. Because again, these drugs are going to exist. People are going to create them regardless. So why not try to, or people are going to use them as well. So why not try to regulate it to some extent to help people out?
I think there are valid points in some of what he was saying. I hate that argument in general. That gets used in a lot of different scenarios. One thing is bad, the other thing is not bad. Let's just equalize it and make both of them okay. In my opinion, the way to address the situation that you were just putting out there is there should be more control over the shit that people are getting over the counter. Like, I don't think because people are abusing Oxy means that we should also allow them to abuse heroin kind of thing. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well.
I heard you say, I wouldn't say that though. I think it's more like, how can I put it?
What I'm saying is, how do you stop those things from existing?
You can't.
You can't.
Right.
They're going to be here.
The only thing that you can do at that point is try to regulate it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, what do you mean by regulate it?
Well, to make sure that these drugs aren't tainted with anything else, because that's what most likely is going to kill you, is when people step on the shit or cutting the shit with like fentanyl all of that stuff. So like that's 9 times out of 10 is what's going to kill you, or just to educate people on what's a healthy dose of these things. And I mean, and it's not even to say that these are the things that you should be doing, but if you're going to try it, you're going to try it regardless. You know what I'm saying? So why not give somebody a better avenue or a safer?
Yeah, I guess you're saying the same way like how making moonshine is illegal because you're making shit in your home. It's not regulated to see what you're putting in it and what you're giving people that could possibly kill them. Right. Because it's a high level of alcohol that you're giving people. But
if you
can go to a liquor store, then you know what it is. You know how much alcohol in it.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, this shit is strong as fuck. Yeah. But it's in a liquor store, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a regulated thing. Like these things are, all of these things that are in pharmacies or in liquor stores or in your corner stores are things that could kill you if you abuse them. You know, I just think it should be regulated, and certainly people shouldn't be penalized as much for people that are using it the most. They shouldn't be penalized for being an addict or addicted to it. They should be helped, if anything.
What do you do for somebody that consistently commits crime to get money for their drug addiction? Because I think the idea of rehabilitating people and, you know, getting them help, that sounds good. And in general, I agree with that. But I think there's situations where you're talking about, you know, somebody gets picked up consistently because they're always doing something to try to feed their addiction. You just say, well, I mean, they're addicted. Sorry, we can't punish them. They're addicts.
No, I didn't say that. But did anybody try to help them the first time?
Whose responsibility is it to help them?
No,
like if we're saying that people are going to, if we're saying we should legalize because people should be able to make their own decisions, then people should also be able to adhere to or answer for their decisions.
Right, that's fact. And if you commit any crimes while doing that, you should be punished for those crimes. But you shouldn't be punished if you're caught with the drug.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
The
crimes are a completely separate thing. You can commit crimes being sober. You should be punished for those crimes regardless. But
just for possession is what you're talking about.
Right. You need to help these people the first time. Like the police's job is, it says to serve and protect. It doesn't say anything really about to arrest or to really enforce that kind of law. I think it is, like you said, it's your constitutional right to really to be happy and do whatever you want to do, and I'm fine with that as long as you're not hurting anybody. These are the things you want to do to yourself, and it makes you happy. Then fuck it, do it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You're not hurting anyone. I'm fine with that.
I feel you. I get that part of it. Yeah, I'll have to think a little bit more on that. Like I said, it's not something I have a real set opinion on, but it's an interesting conversation. So in my opinion, I feel like we did him a lot of justice just now. And
kind of did.
And made his argument sound really good, which he made some great points in the Breakfast Club interview that I saw. But I also think he sounded like a drug addict that was trying to like justify everything that he was doing. Yeah. Because anytime they asked him a question, it was like, I mean, don't you feel like you're kind of encouraging this, or, you know, this could be something that misleads people or causes people to blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, I don't think so. I mean, people are going to blah, blah, blah. He didn't have any good answers at all, I thought.
When they was asking him, I think they was talking about the movie New Jack City. Mm-hmm. And they was talking about how that was depicting something how it really won't. And I was making addicts and drug dealers look like there's something. It's like, nah, that's how the crack era was. There was a bunch of drug dealers flossing, and there was a bunch of addicts in the hoods of the situation. That was a real thing. He was like, I feel like they made that extreme. They made that more than what it was. And it was like, I don't think that was them being extreme.
I downplayed the fact that people are really like abusing it and the addiction of how it can take over somebody's life. I think he downplayed that fact.
Yeah. He made it seem like it wasn't even a thing. It was like, no, I mean, if you just are responsible, you're okay.
But I do believe that. I think, but the most people who are like responsible individuals don't necessarily try these type of things.
No,
to begin with.
I think he was speaking from a point of a privileged point almost, because it was almost like, yeah, I can balance it out and I can have my life set up like. Everybody ain't got their life set up when they become an addict. Like, people are usually in the worst situations of their life. So it's like they don't have the means of getting help if they get into an addiction.
You got to think about where he's coming from as well, too. He's also not telling people to, like, buy drugs off the street. Like that's one of his first things that he was saying is like when he's tried the drugs that he's used, it's like pharmacy grade level drugs that he's using.
Which is also a privilege.
Right.
Yeah.
He's been privileged, so he doesn't understand. That's what I'm saying. He's downplaying the fact of what these drugs do to people on the street, because the reason why they're using them is because they're depressed or something. You did it because you want to try something new. You want to experiment and experience like something for research purposes. These people aren't researching, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to find something to like take the monkey off their back or to escape. Right. So that's where I think there was a disconnect. But the other stuff, like I guess like the common sense level knowledge of it was correct to me, you know.
I had a lot of respect for like his initial thought process of it. To me, it basically sounded like he's like, I researched drugs, I researched the effects of drugs. How can I fully understand my research and my conclusions without having experience? Yeah, it seemed like he like very strategically was like, I need to do this. He talked about needing to go through withdrawal and like using heroin for a certain amount of time and then completely stopping immediately so that he could understand the side effects of withdrawal. That I find super interesting. I don't think that's a good idea for anybody because in my opinion, what happened was he decided to do this with a good heart and a kind of an idea to help people. But like I said, the interview to me came off as somebody that has an addiction that is manageable with his drugs, but it was like justifying all this kind of stuff. But it seemed like, I don't know. I mean, I have a certain respect for somebody that wants to experience the bad aspects of drugs that other people are struggling with to better understand it. But I think he might have got lost in the sauce. He went too deep cover on it, in my opinion.
It's like a situation that works for him specifically. But for him to cast that on everybody, like everybody should be able to do this. It's like everybody ain't built the same or in the same situation to do things like that.
Right. Everybody's not on this. Everybody's didn't graduate from Yale and has as much education as you do.
Right.
Before you start taking these things, people are teenagers or
poverty-stricken situation.
Right. Poverty and uneducated. So they don't have this information available to them that he had, or the technologies, or he said he tried it in different countries and stuff like that. So it doesn't really necessarily apply in what's going on in America necessarily. But I think he was thinking more so of like in the future, like this is what it should be, because this is what it is in these other countries as well. So that's where I think he was coming from. But like I said, he's disconnected from what's going on. Actually now, like in the streets or before, whatever, too. So,
yeah, I think the last thing I'll say on it seemed like his message and what he's trying to do is more focused on he disagrees with the current drug laws and drug setup, but he's completely disregarding the effect that it would have on people, what he's promoting right now. That's the best way I can say it. I think that's the same thing you were just saying, but that's the best way I can put it, is if your fight against the man and the system and drug laws and that kind of thing ends up causing more people harm, is it really helpful or beneficial is what I would ask.
Yeah.
But, I mean, would you say, though, telling people to not do drugs, that's not effective? I mean, that's not effective.
I do think
that's something that we know to this point in our life. Telling me no doesn't make me say that I don't want to do that. It makes me curious of why you're telling me no.
I mean, it goes back to the Say No to Drugs campaign during the Reagan situation and all that. It's like you telling a bunch of people that are already addicted to a drug to say no to a drug.
Well, even
like that's the campaign that you want to do. Say no. It's like, no, help the people that's already addicted to a drug. Don't just tell them to say no. That's not how shit works.
Right.
You're skipping a bunch of steps.
Even if you're not addicted, I mean, it's just you're gonna do the opposite of what your parents tell you to do.
But
it's just things that
to an extent,
you're gonna want to know what's on the other. People are gonna do that regardless.
Why have you never tried heroin?
Because I don't want to. That's not something I want to do.
All right. Well, I mean,
it's pretty much that simple. I would never do it.
All right. Well, if you won't give in to the question, I've never done heroin because I think it would ruin my life.
I don't know. I mean, literally, it's just because it's something that I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna snort shit. I'm not gonna shoot shit up in my arm.
Right.
So these are the things I'm not gonna do it.
You don't think any of that is because for your whole life it has been portrayed as a negative thing that can lead to massive destruction and all this kind of problems?
Right, but that's what he was saying though. Is just like, I mean, it's probably because of that why I've never tried it. I'm sure that's a reason. I'm not gonna say it's not a reason at all, but that's what he was saying. Like people don't say that about rappers drinking lean and shit like that. They don't say it's destroying their life.
No, they do.
What I'm saying? Like, it's like
they do.
I mean, it's dead rappers because of lean.
But I mean, it's a glorified drug. You know what I'm saying? But if these same rappers were saying we're doing heroin, people were like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" But it's essentially the same thing,
right? But this is back to my original point. If we know that lean is terrible and it's being promoted to not be terrible, then I don't see how promoting heroin as being okay is a good response. But I
think that's a different situation. Like you said, you're not shooting nothing up or snorting nothing. Like drinking a drink that tastes good is a whole different situation to taking a drug.
It's easier to right.
If you've had lean before, it's a very good drink.
Right. This is why this is something I've tried.
It's a very good drink. So I can see how somebody can get addicted to this shit. This is good.
That's the difference.
I would say that our entire lives of heroin and crack and those hard drugs being looked at a certain way has deterred us from wanting to participate in that. Yeah. There is the rebellious side that you're talking about. You're told don't drink, don't do drugs or whatever, and you want to experiment with some weed. You want to drink when you're young. There is that side of it because those are seen as, I don't want to say seen. Those are more fringe drugs that people can manage fairly easily in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But because of the damage that crack has been presented to us, or coke has been presented to us, I'm somebody that gets addicted to certain stuff because I like that good feeling. Like I did smoke weed for a long time because I like that. Drinking wasn't for me because I got stomach issues, but there's nothing like right now I'm not doing anything, but there's nothing like that first morning hit on the vape. Like that nicotine rush, it feels incredible. And now I vape constantly. Like that's something that's gotten out of hand. So I don't do well with managing things that elevate really euphoric feelings. So I've never even wanted to be close to coke because I think I would have loved that shit.
Right.
Like I'm afraid I would have loved it.
But people do though.
Yeah,
right.
On the flip side, I've seen people have a good time off of it. So
people do love it.
It's a party drug.
Exactly. That's my point. We've been going for a while, but that's what I'm saying.
What made me not interested in coke is when you see how much more you got to pay for that shit. I'm like,
it's a very expensive drug.
How can you even afford this, sir? Like you work where I work. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't make that much more than me. I know that for a fact. How can you even afford something so expensive? Like, that's what turned me off from it.
I guess it all depends.
Snorting shit.
It all depends. Everything has gone up over the years.
No doubt.
First time I saw a cocaine sale, I'm like, oh shit, this is where the money is at. This is crazy.
It's some fast money.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. He gave you that little bit. Can't you come back with $500? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's what's like. I don't get how.
It's a 20-year risk too.
Well, for
you get caught with it, yeah.
Maybe not the first charge, but I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you gonna serve some years.
Time.
Yeah,
you got some cocaine. You can do some real deal time. But I think all of that shit should be reevaluated just around drugs. Mostly how we're policing it, and I'm not necessarily encouraging people to use it, but it should be regulated so that things are safer and for people who are using it. And you should be like cracking down more on like the people who are like putting poison in the drugs. I mean, people won't say the drug itself is poison, but to putting stuff that's in the drug that are actually kill a motherfucker from small doses and stuff like that. Because you see far too many people OD from buying something where it was just tainted. Like I said, fentanyl is like the most popular thing that people use. I've recently experienced.
Yeah, essentially, that's part of the game.
That way. So.
Essentially, that's part of the game if you're a dealer. to increase the addictive measure of your drug to whoever you selling it to.
And more so than that is to make money. It's about the profit to cut the shit as much as you can with all of this other bullshit to make some money. And hey, that part of the game I think needs to be policed more so than just the average Joe that's using it or really even selling it. Like you got to get on these people who are selling stuff that is actually designed to kill a motherfucker. So, I think he made some good points, but nothing about listening to him or even if I read his book would make me say, I want to try some crack. Nothing about, if you want to do it, you're going to do it. That's how I feel about it.
True, dude. Think we wrapped up this topic.
Cam or Kyrie next?
Let's do Cam.
Cam Newton went on to the I Am Athlete podcast this week.
Great pod.
Long pod. Yeah. Honestly, one of my favorite pods. I have no problems plugging somebody else. If you don't check them out already, do it. Why did I just go blank? Brandon Marshall, Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder,
yep.
Ochocinco. They do an incredible job talking about current events, football stuff, athlete-related things, and now doing a lot of interviews. So had Cam on. What was your Cam thoughts?
It was a great interview, man. They asked all the right questions. He didn't avoid nothing. He was straight up about the whole season and how the shit went down. He broke down the whole process of it for real. He made me gain another respect for Cam just by how he addressed all the things they was asking him about, like how I guess after the first 3 or 4 games, how it just took a slope down in the middle of the season when he caught the corona, how that affected the whole season. He just addressed it all. He made it make sense how and why the season went down the way it did. So I fuck with that.
I mean, the only thing I really is Cam being Cam. They was talking. He was, I guess, being real, but I felt like he made an excuse about the COVID thing. Like that's the reason why my season went bad.
No, I don't think he said that.
After COVID, I couldn't recover. I couldn't get back on a moving train.
Well, I think what he said was before they was doing like a limited playbook. And then he called the COVID. He's like, I guess he was addressing like the Patriot way and how it's, what do you call it? Like mental stamina is what the Patriot way is. How it's like, you just keep going. So when he had to sit, got the COVID 2 days before they played Kansas City, they put Stidham in or whoever, I think it started Stidham. And they just kept on with the process and they implemented the whole playbook once they put the backup in. And then once he came back, the whole playbook was in and he was not very comfortable with the playbook at that point to be able to do the whole playbook right in the middle of a season. So it just threw off all chemistry with the team altogether, and he was basically winging it every play. It's how he made it. It's how he explained it.
To me, it sounds like an excuse because, all right, if they put in the whole playbook, I know they gave you that information. I know you have this information. So if these are things that it's just like if you're out of school for a week or whatever, it's still your responsibility to do all your homework or your assignments that whatever that you had. So that's why I just felt like that part of it was an excuse.
But you can definitely say that it's a bigger thing to do than just giving somebody a playbook and they're not practicing with the team for a couple of weeks and then coming right back into a game week and expecting to be able to have the chemistry when you haven't practiced with nobody.
Well, I mean, a lot of people caught COVID throughout the season, and I'm not going to say that. Everybody, I guess, it came back differently, but we've seen people come back and pretty much look exactly the same as what we saw prior to them catching it. So
I think Cam is the only one that's on a new team and caught the COVID and had to figure it out.
I wouldn't say that.
Who else is it?
Because we don't know that. That is a completely false statement.
As far as quarterbacks, he was the only one that was on a new team.
But as free agents, people change teams every single year. So
you don't
to
think
say that none of those guys caught COVID throughout the season would be very ignorant.
I don't think that's what he said at all.
I said there was no other quarterback that came to a new team. I did.
You corrected yourself to say quarterback.
I mean, we talking about Cam. I'm talking about quarterbacks.
I mean, no, you said any NFL player caught the COVID.
I'm talking about quarterbacks.
But I'm talking about just players in general because I'm not making the separation. A playbook's a playbook. Everybody has to know what the assignments are regardless.
You don't think there's a difference?
There's a difference between what a quarterback has to know than any other player on the team.
I mean, I guess the quarterback has to, but this is the mental. This is what quarterbacks do. Regardless, like you're required to know these things. At a quarterback, you're a quarterback because you have the mental capacity to be able to do these things anyway. So, I mean, I'm not going to make any excuses for Cam at this juncture of his career, talking about he can't understand a playbook. Like this is. I mean, look. I mean, that to me, that part sounded like an excuse. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think so.
So, from my takeaway, I think if he had said, the season didn't go good because I got COVID and just left it at that, then I think you could say that he made an excuse. I think he gave a reason as to what caused the season to get off course for him. And everything else that he said for the other hour that they talked about his football career was pretty much them saying, well, don't you think that, not getting signed until late had something to do with this? And he's like, no, I don't think that was a problem. And don't you think that, them putting the whole playbook in right from the beginning when you had a short training camp? And he's like, no, that's how I would have wanted it. I felt like he very clearly went out of his way to take responsibility for everything that they tried to lob out as an excuse. So I get what you're saying in that he blamed COVID as being a big problem that caused things to get off track. But to me, he was very clear in everything that he said that it's on me, that I can't look to anybody else. I got to get the job done. I didn't get the job done. I had a completely different takeaway than what you're talking about right now.
I mean, it's not necessarily a negative, but I guess that's the.
But you said he made an excuse, and I had put in.
We just answered the question that they asked.
Overall, I didn't take the a negative look for on Cam after that interview. I just thought that part of it was interesting for me because it sounded like that was the part that was an excuse. He did own up to a lot, but I'm just like, hey. Don't even mention how, I don't know, I couldn't get back. The team just kept going. It's like, no, it's your responsibility to keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? It's your responsibility to hop on a moving train. These are athletes that are paid millions.
Yeah, he said he addressed that. He said it's still on me to be prepared.
Right.
He didn't say it like that's why I couldn't do it. He said no, all that happened, but I should have been prepared.
Yeah, maybe I missed that part.
So
but
he owned up.
To me, it's y'all get hung up when I make comparisons that it's not exactly identical situations. But if an athlete is like coming off from an ACL tear that happened relatively recently, but comes back, makes it back for the season, and somebody's like, how come your numbers weren't up to par as usual? And they're like, I didn't get the job done. We didn't play very well, whatever. But, I also had a hard time making this kind of move with my knees. We're not as strong as they've been in the past. Like, that's giving a reason as to why you didn't perform as well as you should have or could have. But it's not an excuse. Like, my knees are fucked up. What do you want from me?
Yeah, I ain't taking it. He wasn't going out of his way to make excuses. He was just answering the questions.
Yeah, I think you can give an answer to a reason why you didn't think things went well without it being an excuse. But I guess maybe that's semantics.
Yeah, that's fair. But like you said, it's either or. It's how you interpret it. Is it a reason or an excuse? Whatever. But ultimately. Do you guys think that Cam Newton is done?
No.
In his NFL career?
He shouldn't be.
I think it's possible.
As a starter in the NFL?
He shouldn't be. I agree with what he said. There's not 31 quarterbacks that are better than Cam Newton right now, starting quarterbacks.
I love Cam to death. And like I said, after the interview, I like him even more because even as a Panthers fan, you weren't getting 2-hour sit downs of him deep diving, what's going on and that kind of thing. I knew stuff about his personality, but I gained a lot of respect for him. As far as his ability to play, I don't know. Last season was bad, really bad, regardless of, the supporting cast that he had, the COVID situation, getting picked up late. There are reasons that you could use to explain why he didn't play up to par, but it did not look good, and the NFL doesn't move backwards, or it doesn't slow down and wait for other people.
That's true.
Every year we've got 5 and 6 quarterbacks that are coming in slanging the rock right now. Like, it's such a pass-heavy league that I don't know if he can catch up at his age and what he's been through physically in the league. I hope he can. I hope it works out well, but I think you're going to see. I mean, there's already not a lot of teams that gave him a chance or were interested in giving him a chance last year.
Well, none.
And coming off of the season that he had, I don't know if you're going to find suitors. I think he's going to have to take a backup role at a team that is not like a sure quarterback situation. Washington being one of them, where you take a backup role with a guy that's not the set starter and hope that at some point in time you get your shot and take advantage of it. But I don't see the Patriots or anybody else saying
he would start in Washington.
Cam's going to be our guy. He might, maybe.
I mean, what other option do the Patriots have though?
Nothing right now, but they keep mentioning them making trades to move up in the draft and try to take somebody. I just don't know if teams are going to want to give him a shot. I really don't.
I don't know what we're going to do, but after that interview, it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable if they was to sign him back and bring him back after having a full offseason with the team and going through the processes and getting our whole team back, because a lot of people opted out on the defense and all that. If we get our whole stable back, everybody locked in for a whole offseason, I'd like to see how that goes for next season.
So what I would say is I don't think Cam is as bad as what we saw.
Right.
But I don't think he's that much better either.
I think that's fair.
I think he's better than 8 touchdowns a year. I damn sure hope so.
I think he'd be a lot better.
I feel like
like I said, at the beginning of the season, the first three or four, maybe 5 games, he looked pretty solid. Now, we weren't throwing the ball a lot.
He was
that Seattle game, he threw almost 400 yards in that game. Like, he looked like regular Cam then, even though he wasn't all the way himself. So he's still showing us that he's capable of being that level of a player again.
He just flashes, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotta get him some receivers.
I feel like all the things that they brought up in that interview and they asked him about played a part in how the season went. Yeah. Whether you want to call them excuses or whatever you want to distinguish them as, they did play a significant part in how the season went. So give him a full offseason, let him link with the team, build, get all the players back, maybe get some good draft picks, and we'll see what happens. And then if it's still the same way we've seen this year, then it's like, all right, we got to look at Cam a little differently now.
Yeah, you got to get him some. Like the guy they were saying on the pod, they gotta get some dogs.
Ocho tried to put him in a bad situation.
Yeah, to talk about the wide receivers.
He kept asking about the receivers. I mean, you can't say anything.
You can't shit on them.
You can't say anything, but at the same time, in my opinion, that was one of the bigger excuses that you could make.
Definitely
is without having Edelman, he had nobody to throw to, and I mean, y'all were just not good last year.
N'Keal Harry. You could have killed him.
Yeah.
Because N'Keal Harry hasn't stepped up to the level that we expected him to be in these first 2 seasons. But,
Definitely.
Well, so the Patriots should be in. Well, you know what? They, especially when they're explaining that, they'll probably be getting like some veteran free agent wide receiver. That's kind of how the Patriots operate, right? They go out there. They got a Randy Moss. Then they got Chad.
I'd love to get a Randy Moss caliber player in all season. I'd love to get that
guy again. But I'm saying, you got Chad Ochocinco. Then you got AB. Like they clearly are like in the market year after year for like these.
But again, we got the opportunity to get those players when they was basically turned away from everybody else. Well, nobody was looking at them in the same light of being the great that they were.
But they can still play
when we got them.
Right, but they can still play. Yeah. And Chad Johnson was different. I think he can still play, but he just didn't. It didn't work out well for him, and we know how the AB shit ended.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think they should be in the market for definitely some kind of wide receiver.
There's quite a few.
Big name. Yeah, right on the market.
Quite a few.
Like Kenny Galladay.
I was gonna say, go get a Galladay, and I hope he comes back to the Panthers. But even like a Curtis Samuel's, like a good 3 receiver. He's familiar with Cam. Mm-hmm. Like, I think stuff like that would be helpful if you're bringing Cam back.
Yeah. Having a full offseason to build around Cam will make a lot more sense. But,
I honestly think y'all getting all your defense back next year is going to be the biggest difference.
Definitely.
Because that was obviously the strength of the team.
Hightower.
2 years ago.
He's our captain.
And I think not having a dominant defense changed the scope of the team for last year.
But wait, do you think the Patriots can even? Now that I'm thinking about it, do you think they can reel in those free agents anymore? Like the type of guys that they will generally get to, that were the guys that are going to the Bucs now. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I mean, no, because we ain't got Tom no more. Tom was the draw
right. For you to take a little less, and
I think you can still get the Galladays.
Yeah.
I don't think you could get the old veteran that's like
They want to ring now.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get those.
JJ Watt type guys.
Right. Yeah, I don't
this
see
is
that.
not a free agent destination anymore.
No.
This is a guy who I don't know if he can get a Kenny Galladay because I mean he's gonna get a lot of contract offers and he's gonna be like I'm not gonna want to stay in New England versus Miami or Atlanta.
I don't think that'll be a problem. I think that they will still be well respected by any young players that are still like prominent guys.
Yeah, they better get in the draft. I just don't see it being like a heavy free agent destination anymore. But I mean, you throw enough money, then yeah, it can be if you got the right play.
It's a long off season.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, it's a lot of shit that's going to go down apparently.
Yeah,
coming soon, hopefully.
But before we get off of Cam though, did y'all see that shit with Cam and the kid at the camp?
That was wild. What the hell is wrong with these youngins? What the hell is wrong with these youngins?
Disrespect.
It was like one of those cringeworthy type videos to watch. I mean, because in Cam's position, it's like, what do you do? I mean, I think he handled it correctly. I don't like his first response to keep saying that he was rich.
He's rich.
But then it seemed like he quickly snapped out and was like, "Nah, bro, where's your dad at?"
But wasn't he saying I'm rich because he was saying you're a free agent, you're about to be broke? Or did that?
Well, no, I mean,
he said he was gonna be a free agent. You a free agent, damn.
Ain't no need to even tell this broke ass little dude that you rich. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked it better if he would have said like something more clever, like, I mean, I got more money. I guess it's not even clever, but it's like your dad doesn't have as much money as me type shit. You know what I'm saying? Make him feel it. If you going to say some shit, make him feel I guess I'm not as petty as Cam, and that's why I looked at it. It wasn't a bad look for him overall.
I think he handled it the best way he could in that situation.
When he started asking for his dad and stuff.
Because if he would have really started going in on his kid, then he would look like the bad guy.
I would have probably, he would have got 2 seconds or 2 times to call me ass, and then it's like, nah, bro, you just gonna go ahead and leave.
That would essentially probably been the right move to make, but he was being a bigger person and let him stay. Just talk him down.
That's you being a bigger person. It's just, this is the consequences to your actions type of shit. Like, no, you got to go now.
Well, I think there's 2 different things. You can justify it easily because this is your punishment for being an idiot. But I think it is part of being a bigger person because he's like knows that these kids need help and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even mean like life help, but they're there for football. It's like you probably paid to come to this camp. If I just kick you out for criticizing me a couple times, that looks pretty weak.
That wasn't criticizing.
I mean,
that wasn't criticizing. That was.
I think the little kid's a moron. I had no defense for what he's doing, but
they made him apologize. You see that?
Yeah, I got the apology here too, which I thought was terrible.
Yeah, you can tell the team or whoever the team he played for made him do that shit.
Right. I mean, it's probably his mom made him do it because he knows better than to act like that. But I feel like everybody around him is flawed because it's like whoever's recording it or anybody out there. To me, if I'm any kind of captain or like that, just like speaking from my football background, I wouldn't have allowed that shit to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like we would have told him like, nah, bro, you're not gonna act like that though. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter who it was on the team, like you gotta sit him down. Even if it's like your man, it's like, yo, bro, you really wilding out here. Yeah. Cam Newton putting on this camp and shit.
Yeah, this is his camp. Like how you gonna disrespect the camp that we at?
He out here showing. He out here with us. It ain't just a camp with Cam Newton's name on it.
Yeah, he out here working with us the whole time.
And shit, trying to like you ain't. Well, there's an opportunity for us to say, hey, how did you get there? How did you do this? Regardless of what you think about him, this is still an NFL player. I mean, a motherfucker that's on the practice squad is what you could. Cam Newton is a guy who dreamed about something as a kid and became that. He's one of the rare people in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's rare that people can. This is my dream as a kid, and this is what I'm doing for a living as an adult, and prospering and have fucking wealth for my family for years, you know what I'm saying, security and things like that. So you should be trying to get tips from this person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what somebody needs. Where was his coach at that moment? Where's your coach at out here? Somebody needs to pull you to the side and let you know, like, what you're doing right here is extra ignorant right now.
That's where it's clear it's a maturity issue.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
right,
like
for sure.
the more important thing to him was to get his friends to laugh. I want to make my friends.
Oh, I think he was embarrassed because I think Cam had called him out about something, and then he felt like he needed to fire back in that moment. Just being embarrassed in the moment.
Probably so. But trying to be the funny guy was more important than
That's what I think it was.
learning from the situation.
He was trying to be a funny guy, but to me, like I said, if I'm on that field with him, and even if it's my man or whatever, it's like, yo, bro, I'm gonna let you know that's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, we out here to work anyway. Like, of course, we can geek and laugh and stuff like that, but you don't do nothing like that. Like, if I was his coach, you think you'll see anybody talk to their coach like that?
No.
You know what I'm saying, on the football field?
Right.
I mean, I've seen it, but it didn't end well for the players.
Right, it's not that's how I would have handled it.
Pack your shit up and get the hell off my field.
Get the fuck out of here. And that's what it just been. Like, imagine that shit happened to. We seen some badass Last Chance U kids.
Right.
They got cussed the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's what should happen.
Right.
I mean,
I've seen plenty of teams I played with.
I'm not saying that Cam handled it wrong or anything. Cam handled it great because of who Cam is and his status. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if that was Carl, it's different. You know what I'm saying? That kid would have got cussed the fuck out and you would have got kicked out the camp. And if you want to come back, have your dad or your mom call me and then we'll work out something like that.
Yeah.
But right now, you're getting the fuck off my field. And that's how a coach says it. Get off of my field.
Get off
you
my
know what
field.
I'm saying? Get off of my field.
You interrupted my practice.
You don't pay for anything out here. This doesn't revolve around you. This is an opportunity for people who wanted to learn and get better. And you came out here wanting to be, like Andrew said, a fucking funny guy.
Yeah.
I was with the apology for the most part, except for I got a major problem with the part where he says, as a football player, I let my competitive side get the best of me, and it was a huge miscommunication. It was in the midst of the moment, and I realize now how a lot of you took it as disrespect. Anytime you apologize and say, I'm sorry you took it this way, you're full of shit. Like, just say, I messed up, and I'm sorry
I was all disrespect.
I'm sorry I was disrespectful. I'm sorry if any of y'all took it as disrespect. That kind of thing made me like, get out of here. But all in all, this is probably a 16, 17-year-old kid. He did something stupid at camp, got blown up for it all over the U.S. at this point in time. Hopefully you learn from it and you keep it moving. I don't think it's a massive problem. Like, I don't think this kid's a loser because of this. You know?
I mean, it's one of them things that's gonna haunt him. I think that's what sucks about
internet.
Just like the internet nowadays is just he's never going to be able to like live down on that moment. Like, it's one thing that's going to follow him for the rest of his life. So any colleges that may have been looking at him might not give him a scholarship because of moments like that, because you look like a player that's not coachable.
But it depends on how good he is.
Oh yeah, certainly. First and foremost,
his talent is going to have to speak louder than his mouth did at that day.
Yeah, it better. You can do that if you can back it up, and I'm completely fine with that. But it's going to be people regardless that are going to look at it as a negative for the rest of life. Even if you do change and say all the right things going forward, people can still say, this is who you were. You couldn't be that distant from it at this point. So, I mean, it sucks for him to have that moment, like, live with him forever, too.
Yeah.
But, hey, this is what you put out there.
Agreed.
And this is probably your friend who recorded the shit.
Probably so.
That shit's so stupid, man. That shit's so dumb. You see, it's a teacher. Her friend recorded her saying the N-word and shit, saying nigga. White teacher that's in this area, and put it on Snapchat, and then people, like, of course, screen recorded, and it's all over the news and shit now. But it's like, is that your friend? Recorded you say this and posted it? Is that your friend?
That's wild. I didn't hear about that.
That's kind of wild.
She was singing a song. And
it's always a song, ain't it?
Yeah, she's a teacher, like I said, at the school my daughter actually goes to.
Oh, wow.
And now, I'm sure she's a cool girl. She's like a young teacher, like 22 or something like that. But it's like, why would your friend do something like that? Look, let's be real. I know why people are singing songs and saying nigga when they sing this. I have no fucking problem with it. But as a friend, it's like, why would you post me doing that? That don't make sense.
Right.
Agreed, 1,000%.
Right, knowing what I do, and then I feel the same way about the kid's friend. It's like, bro, why would you post this shit? You supposed to be my man or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was his friend.
I can see kids.
He probably
kids
was
looking
his
for
friend.
a viral moment.
Yeah, they thought it was just funny.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking
my
nothing
boy
about
arguing with
backlash.
Cam right now. I got to record this.
ESPN and all that shit for the wrong reasons. Right
Very
now.
much so.
Yeah, it sucks. Sucks to be him. Sucks to be him. But I don't know. Another reason why I don't think Cam might not get another job is just because or maybe not a starting job, is because the whole quarterback carousel that's going on in the NFL.
What you mean by that?
Recently, Russ said he wants out.
Oh yeah. Well, they corrected that. They corrected that. They said he doesn't want to leave, but if they were trying to entertain any trades, he told them the teams he wanted to go to.
So I think
that sounds like you want to trade.
I guess it do, but they blew it up like he went up to the office and said, "I want out." That's not how it went down, supposedly.
I think Russ is flexing right now. He is applying heavy pressure.
He should.
He said, right after the season ended, or maybe even during the season, they had said something about him not being happy with, I don't know if it was a hire that they made, but not being a part of the developing the offense or something like that. Like he made it known that he wasn't happy with that aspect of it. I'm not sure if I don't know if it was that. I mean, I feel like it was a minor coach, like a quarterback's coach or something, but he wasn't consulted at all. Said that he wanted to be a part of that decision or something. So since then the season has ended and he's had a couple of different comments come out where they're him kind of questioning the organization or whatever. I think he is positioning himself right now. If y'all want me to be here, I want to be a part of this, and I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
So how you feel about that? I think we had this conversation last week about players in the front office not being on the same level. If your star QB on the NFL team says he wants to be a part of the process of the coach that you hired to coach him, is that fair to have that happen?
I think it's fair to want to be a part of the process. If they say no or don't hire the guy that you want,
that's fair.
Then that's the end of the discussion for me. So. But I feel like wanting to have input makes sense, but it comes back to this is your role, this is our role. If we don't hire your guy, it is what it is. You can't. I don't think it's correct to be then pissed about it. I mean, you could be mad about it. Yeah,
that could be detrimental if you don't fuck with the coach. You want your coach to have a good relationship with your star QB at the end of the day.
Yeah, but at the same time, you want it to be a coach-QB relationship. Nothing more than that. I want it to be focused on football. I
ain't talking about they got to be best friends, but it should be somebody that your QB respects.
The organization should have what's in the interest or what's in the best interest of the organization. It can't just be about the quarterback because he has to coach 52 other guys as well, too. So, possibly
true,
so.
But
you
want your QB to be happy.
Yeah, but that's two different things. I agree with you that the team should want to do that,
right?
Because it's better cohesion to have everybody on board. I'm talking about specifically if they don't pick the guy that he wants. I believe from our previous conversations, you don't have any problem with him voicing his opinion to the media about whatever or demanding a trade or whatever the case may be, and I think that's wrong.
Maybe not voicing it to the media, but he should be able to go to the front office and have that conversation.
Yeah, I agree. You can have the conversation, but ultimately you're not in charge.
What transpires afterwards has nothing to do with you. Or, I mean, it does have something to do with you, but your influence on it, you don't make the final decision. Is all I'm saying. It's just the organization is going to do what's best for them because it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks when Russell Wilson leaves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's they have to think about that going forward. So I mean, I completely get both sides on it. To me, I think he should have some input as far as what are our plans going forward, but not to say this is what you need to do. These are our plans. They just need to keep them in the fold and let them know, hey, we're looking into protecting you more. The guy's been sacked, almost 400 times in his career. He's the most sacked quarterback in an 8-season span in NFL history.
Yeah.
And some of that stuff he runs into it, of course, but a mobile quarterback, you would think, would get sacked a little bit less than a guy that's a fucking statue. So it's clearly, things they need to do as an organization to better the Seahawks going forward, and they just need to keep Russell Wilson in the loop like that for things like that. He shouldn't be out here making decisions, studying college film to say, "Hey, we got to draft this offensive lineman," and then
that's what I'm saying. Like, at least have them in the loop. Like, I guess the Deshaun situation where every decision they made last offseason, they went totally. They didn't let them be aware of what happened, like trading D-Hop and getting a new coach, firing a new coach, and all the situations that they had. It's like, you're not going to let him talk to him at all about it. Like, I understand he doesn't have the final decision, but to just disregard him altogether is like, you're not going to help that relationship with you and your star QB by doing it like that. And now we see where they at now.
Yeah, and I think, and I probably, in a lot of our debates or whatever around that topic, I probably haven't made that clear, but I agree with you on that.
Right.
I mean, the Texans have mishandled everything about the Deshaun situation. Although I ultimately think that, he doesn't get to have that say, they should have had him in all these discussions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They should have been asking
He should
him
be
this.
in the meetings
Absolutely.
of the situation to be in the conversation. They shouldn't just be making moves and then he find it out on social media like everybody else. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
If you want to instill confidence in your guy and you want them to want to be there, having him as a part of all that stuff would have been the easy, smart decision. Yeah. And they've done everything wrong. So I'm hoping that they will mishandle the trade request as well, and we can get this knocked out with 2 firsts and a second. You know what I mean? Get him to Charlotte.
They're certainly building up. I mean, this offseason has been interesting already. We've never seen anything like this before, where so many guys who were starting quarterbacks, at least at the start of the 2020 season, are going to be on new teams or wanting out on their current teams. So I mean, I think it's just gonna make it an interesting dynamic going forward when it comes to things like the draft, because we always anticipate, teams 1 through 5 in the draft order are going to select quarterbacks, or at least 2 or 3 of them, or something like that. That might not be the case now because so many veteran quarterbacks are becoming available. So
I don't think so.
I mean,
I think there's going to be a lot more movement than usual, and there are a lot of veterans available. But I think we're going to see 3 to 4 quarterbacks taken in the top 5, regardless.
I mean,
that's a fact.
I don't know, bro. If you
first 2 are definite.
If the Jets go out there and say, "Hey, we want Deshaun Watson," and they do whatever it takes to get this, they're not drafting a quarterback. And then the same with what's the other team?
Jaguars.
The Jags.
Yeah.
What if they go out there and they get Russell Wilson or something? Like this eliminates a bunch of factors and stuff.
No, because if that happens, then the Seahawks and the Texans are going to take a quarterback.
Yeah, because they'll get that pick.
That's going to be
if the Jags get Russell, they're trading that pick to them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's going to be 3 to 4 quarterbacks in the top 5, guaranteed. I
would say 2.
There's 2 going 1-2, and Miami's going to trade back. Quarterbacks are wanted too bad right now that they want to take a quarterback 3, and they don't need one. They're going to trade back. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. But we'll do draft coverage. We'll do draft coverage.
Yeah. We got about we're a couple months away from the draft.
Plenty of time, unfortunately. I'm ready to get it popping.
Yeah.
What we got?
I want to get to this Kyrie real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't know how quick it'll be because I told you I have other side questions.
It should be quick. I have too much to say. I mean, I want to know what you had to say about it.
I don't know what happened with Kyrie.
He posted on Instagram, "I don't care what anybody says, Kobe should be the logo.
With the Kobe logo. Yeah.
Black Kings built this league." Something to that effect.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty close to word for word. Since then, he's been asked about it, basically said the exact same thing. We talked about Kobe being the logo back when he passed.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a whole lot to deep dive on that. Were we all on this? I know I don't think he should be, but I don't really care. Were we all on that page, or did y'all have different opinion on that?
I think it's an overreaction a bit, but I wouldn't be mad either way.
I wouldn't think it's
I think
it's
cool if they did do it, but then again, it's like, why would you change something as iconic as the NBA logo? You know what I'm saying?
I think the conversation of Jerry West being the logo for so long after we've seen so many great players since he played has been going on long before Kobe died. I think that conversation has always been in the air. Like, why is Jerry West still the logo? I've heard it plenty of times.
It
just got blown up more when Kobe died, huh?
Leagues don't change their logo.
Right.
I mean,
MLB logo is the same.
Also,
the NFL logo's always been the
but
shield.
NBA is the only logo that's of a player, though.
I mean, it's a silhouette.
So
I understand that
everybody else's logo
Jerry
is just
West.
the NFL, the MLB. Like, it's not like a player.
Baseball's got a
The NBA has a logo of a specific player. I mean, most people probably don't even know that it is Jerry West.
right.
So it's just like an emblem of a basketball player. But if you know basketball, you know that's Jerry West.
But
It's
that's
like he's still the logo. It's like that's never going to change.
That's like the man on top of a trophy, though. You know what I'm saying? It's just the image. Like, nobody cares who this person was necessarily. Like,
I think it makes a difference, but
100 years from now, nobody's gonna know or even give a fuck about the fact that that's Kobe Bryant as a logo. Just like we don't give a fuck it's Jerry West. Or
I doubt that. I think people would care if Kobe was the logo. Like people would know that. I don't think people would not know who Kobe was as years go on.
Just like I don't give a fuck about Jerry West, bro. And it wasn't even 100 years ago. I only knew that because it was like randomly said or
these conversations are the only time that I think about Jerry West being the logo.
Exactly.
I see the logo every single day probably, and it doesn't ever
think, oh, that's fucking Jerry West.
If they change it to Kobe, I do not care at all. It doesn't bother me, whatever. It's a cool little memorial thing. My question is, I mean, the only way this is so clearly just an in the moment thing to me, because what do you do when Jordan dies? Jordan is a better player than Kobe.
I mean, that's a different.
I love Kobe.
That's a different conversation because Jordan already has his logo, so now it's going to be the Jordan League. That was a whole different conversation because he already has a brand with his logo.
I mean, what about when LeBron dies? I mean, if we're updating it because Kobe's the greatest player, that's not true. If we're updating it because he just died and we want to be like a cool memorial now in the moment, then that's fine, whatever. I don't care. I just think it's dumb. But it's not
an overreaction.
It's not that important. What I really wanted to get to, or my take here is, to me, this was... Moss is going to say I'm overreacting so bad.
Right, go ahead and kill him. What is it?
This is just, this is like an embodiment of exactly the same issue that I have with Kyrie over and over and over. Like, if the goal is to make Kobe the logo, then I feel like the way to try to get that done is to like take it to the players' associations, try to get a group of players behind it.
Who's to say he hasn't done that?
Go straight. Well, let me finish. Go straight to Adam Silver, try to ask and see if we can get this taken care of. Like, there's ways to try to make that happen if that's your only goal. To me, putting on Instagram, I don't care what anybody else's opinion is, Black Kings built this league. True or not, whatever you want to say about this statement, to me, it's just confrontational for no reason. Like, he's coming with it. He's coming with a like fuck y'all attitude, like he always does. And so to me, it just is typical Kyrie. I hate everything that he says. He's just the most annoying person in the world to me.
Yeah, I mean, I missed the post. I'm not like. I don't disagree with what he said necessarily. Like, I mean, I think it would be a cool thing. And yeah, basketball will be nothing without Black people. But like you said, we just can't be updating the logo because somebody passed away, even if it's necessarily tragic or whatever. Like, that's the NBA's business. Like they built a brand and really a corporation off of this logo, like, they're not just gonna change it because Kyrie said so, or
I don't know. They built the brand off the logo. I mean, they built the brand because it's the NBA.
Well, I'm just saying that's the shit.
Well, I feel what you're saying.
Like, that's what you identify with the NBA. They're not going to change their identity because a part of it. I mean, Kobe's a very big piece of the NBA, but at the same time, you can say a very small. It's one player. Like, they're not going to change everything that they built because of this one situation. You know what I'm saying? That would be bad business for the NBA.
Yeah, I think if there was no financial impact, I think they would do it.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If they want to switch the logo, they could just switch the logo. I don't think it's like changing the whole business because they changed the picture of a logo. It's just the logo.
Yeah,
you can change the logo.
Bro, that's part of your business.
Sure,
your
but
logo,
it can happen.
Branding is part of your business.
Think about how many teams have changed that logo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the branding is not dependent on what the logo looks like.
Teams?
The branding is dependent on what the league is.
Good teams change their logos.
There's
teams will change their logo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have
the Patriots used to have actual.
The Cowboys have always been the Cowboys. The Lakers are the fucking Lakers. The Boston Celtics are the Boston Celtics. That's what I'm saying. Like these iconic things, these things that you can't change the Boston. That's not going to change.
Yeah, certain teams, but there's other teams that are not those staple teams have changed their logos. Yeah.
I guarantee that
Golden State will never change again because they built something off of being like the Golden State Warriors.
I guarantee some of those teams have had minor logo changes. When it happens, it seems like a big deal. 3 years later, you forgot what the previous logo looked like.
There's never been.
I don't think it matters really.
In most cases, there's never necessarily a downside to upgrading shit. So I don't think it would be I think you're making it like it would be
an upgrade
or evolving or things changing. It's not like a negative thing. Like, of course, at first it was like, oh wow, they're changing the logo. Then after a while, I was like, all right, that's the logo now. So it's not that serious of a thing where it's like shocking the world.
So the NFL should change their shield because I don't know, that shield is now outdated.
Nah. Like I said,
they fucking should.
NBA is the only major sport logo that has a player as their logo.
That you don't identify as a player. Nobody would know that's Jerry West until you tell them that's fucking Jerry West. Otherwise, like I said, it's the man on top of the trophy. You don't know who the fuck this person is, bro. It's just an image.
Well, we've had this talk multiple times, so I don't think it's that important. I do have a side question for you, just out of curiosity here. I sat down and tried to think about this quite a bit last night. I actually was trying to write some shit to get my thoughts together. Do y'all use that phrase? Like, do y'all call each other black kings, black queens, that kind of thing? You know what I'm talking about.
Sometimes. Not like a regular conversation, but yeah, sometimes.
What is your feelings about that?
What you mean?
I didn't know that you did, so I was going to ask y'all, what do you think when you hear other people do it? I guess you can still answer that question, but what is like the idea behind it? Is it just a common phrase at this point that you've kind of picked up, or do you do it with a meaning or intent behind that?
No, I think when I call somebody a king, you a king in your own right. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't have. It's not like a heavy loaded thing.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it either. Yeah. I'm curious, just because I have a reaction to when I see it, and it's not like oh man, what the fuck is wrong with this idiot? It's just I do find it annoying sometimes, and I'll explain further. But I wanted to. Is that something? Would you call a white person that?
Yeah, you could be a white king.
Do you think you would not call a white person that?
I wouldn't call a white person a white king. No, I wouldn't call him that.
The reason is because of the past. You wouldn't give a white person that kind of dominance. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't.
Even not even a dominance. It just sounds weird. I'm not calling you.
No, right. That's what I'm saying.
In regular language, be like, hey, "What's up, white king?"
No, not a white king. Just king. Just king. What about just
maybe king? Yeah, I call you a king. Just a king. I wouldn't put the white in front of it.
What do you think about it? Like when you hear somebody else say it, what is your thought or reaction?
When I see it, I just think it's like honestly, my thought and reaction, I think it's corny. But to each his own. I don't really have a necessarily a reaction to it, I guess. It's just something I wouldn't do. That's how I feel about it. It's just something I wouldn't do. Like, I say, bro, bruh, my nigga.
It's just not one that
it's not in my diction.
I hear you.
So, yeah.
I was just curious because, like I said, when I see it, a lot of times my reaction is like to roll my eyes.
So you got a problem with black kings?
Yeah, I guess so. No, I was just trying to think, like, why do I roll my eyes? Why is that something that I think is this is stupid?
Well, I don't know why you actually feel about it. Maybe because just using king, or when people call people God, what's up, God? What's up, king? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it's like a big up. It's like a respect thing. That's how I take it.
Yeah, it is kind of in the same.
King is more acceptable. If somebody's calling people God out there, then that's not acceptable.
Yeah, I feel different about that one just because from a religious standpoint, but it is in the same vein.
Yeah.
To me, when I think about it, like, I know y'all said you're not really thinking about it this deep, but I was trying to deep dive and figure out like why do I think this is dumb? I think it probably originates from and comes from like the idea of white people and society in general making black people, or at least looking at black people, as less than.
And yeah, so I'm reminded that we were once kings and queens, so right. I understand that.
Yeah, I guess that's the part that I think. I mean, all due respect, bro, I find kind of dumb. Is like, but you're not a king. You're not a king, queen kind of thing, bro. When we say bro, we're not bros. But anyway, what I got to is, like, I understand that as being like a reaction towards the mistreatment or injustice that initiated first. So I don't look at it as a bad thing. I don't judge anybody that says it. Like, I assume it's coming from that good place. To me, like you said, corny, I do kind of think of it that way because it's like, I don't know, it seems like an overcompensation for, I mean, do you really think like we are kings? Like if that's the case, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing.
I think you put more distinction on the word king, like I guess as being like a ruler or something. I see it as more like a big up, like you just propping somebody up, like you're more than just a regular person, you're a king.
No, I agree with you. I don't look at the king. The king thing isn't my hold up. To I don't know. I guess it annoys me because I do see it like as like an overcorrection to the initial injustice. Like I understand it came from a good place, but to me, like, I mean, it's no secret. I'm around you guys, other black people. I'm a part of black culture. I like all of the black culture stuff. So I mean, that's the world that I kind of choose to live in. And every time I hear it, I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up, man. It's like,
so you don't feel accepted into the kingdom.
It is a little bit, yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it is a little bit that. Now, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It's not like it bothers me to that extent. I find it annoying.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going walking around calling every black person I see a king or God or da. But I've said it in conversation. Sometimes just being funny,
right?
Like, what's up, king? How you doing, brother?
I've done that too.
Like just playing around, but not like I don't put that much weight on it. Like, I gotta call every black person I see a king. You a god.
Right. I haven't experienced it like that in real life.
Right,
I spend time on Twitter and like reading articles.
There are some people that are like that though.
Yeah, super elite people that really get into like the racial thing, and those people are very much trying to do it as we are a kingdom and you guys are not.
Might be overcompensating just to try to remove the word nigga. Instead of calling every black person you saw as my nigga, or look at this nigga. No, call him a king. Like, just trying to remove the bad connotation of calling somebody a nigga all the time.
I got you. I respect that for sure.
I recently had a conversation with my girl about that. Like, I just completely disagree with people trying to like get rid of a word or, you know, like, I mean, I'm very fond of the use of the word nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, you know, it means something completely different. So, and then when people like starting to like talk about getting rid of words and shit, it's just like,
see, I knew this was going to be a good combo.
Right. Do you ever feel uncomfortable around using nigga around white people?
No. Carl does not. No, I'll answer that.
I don't necessarily do it as much. Like, I don't say it around Andrew as much. Yeah, it doesn't feel right for the conversation to just be saying nigga all the time to Andrew.
But that's just like anything else. It's like I don't curse as much around my grandmother as I would my friends. You know, it's just like you adapt to these situations. But when I'm around my niggas, like that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
In essence, I almost feel like it's kind of like tacky to use nigga a lot around white people, because it's like, not that you making white people feel uncomfortable, but it's just like, it just makes the conversation weird to me, in a sense, like a little bit. I don't know.
I just don't get why you would be using it a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't get why you.
It's just weird. Like, we had Manny here a few weeks ago, and he used nigga every other word. And it's cool. That's how Manny talk. I know why people talk. I know I'll be around niggas, so niggas talk like niggas talking. It's like, and at certain points like that, you gotta use nigga every single time you make a sentence. It's like, It's not necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how some people talk.
Yeah, this is how some people talk. I understand it.
When we getting like, it's just like when I was listening to that.
I knew that's what you were gonna say.
Freddie Gibbs say "bitch" in every fucking sentence that it's
multiple
either,
times in the same
sentence. Bitch, nigga.
That's sometimes how people talk. Yeah,
that's how he grew up. I guess he sounded like he grew up around a bunch of pimps and shit. But I mean, like, so growing up, my mom didn't want me to use like. I wasn't taught that like using that word or using the word nigga was okay necessarily. But then growing up, it's like this is how I communicate with the niggas. So how do I, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is how I'm around my friends and shit, and that's what they saying. Like, and I'm like, man, this is just how we talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the language that you speak when you
at the same time.
You know
I know some black people's household where their parents don't have a problem with them using nigga. They don't like them to cuss. You're not gonna cuss around me, but you can use nigga like it's a regular
that's what
word.
My girl was talking about. It's just like I'm like, I don't know how I would feel when, you know, my daughter and my son are 14, 15, and that's what and they say it because I'm like, yo, it's a very common thing that I said.
Right.
Growing up, it's just like me saying he or she, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that's just
at the
that's
same time, I can see being a parent like just not allowing your kid to cuss in front of you at all.
Right,
like I'm that type of parent. Like you're not just about to be saying nigga or any cuss word to me freely.
And it's just like, you shouldn't be doing it freely, but it's just like anything else. You gotta tell them, hey, you gotta look around and check your environment before you're talking the way that you're talking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But even if they're not using it around you, they can use it around their friends. You know what I'm saying? This is what they're gonna do if this is the word you want to use. Eventually, this is gonna be a part of your everyday addiction or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, after you turn grown, you do what you want, but. You live in a household, you a kid. Like I said, I was raised like you're not about to use no cuss words around us. You ain't gonna talk like that, nigga, or whatever cuss word it is. You won't have some respect around us. You're not just gonna be talking like that, like you grown in my house.
My parents didn't let us say the N word either.
Right. Oh, okay. That's good. That's good to hear.
right. That's very good. On your end, right?
Do y'all think? Do you think you feel like you encourage it? Do you feel like you hold it back around white people because you don't want to encourage them to say it? Is that
yes.
something?
I think that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
I honestly no. I don't. It's just because it's like it's not. Like I said, it's not part of my thought pattern when I'm around a group of white people.
Well, have you been around some white friends and they use it like it's cool?
Oh yeah, of course. It happens every day, and honestly,
it creates a situation where it's like, all right.
Huh?
We just gonna blow past. It happens every day.
No, I mean not to me. It doesn't happen to me every day.
Oh, that's
but
what
it happens in the world every day. And
no.
Have I experienced that? Plenty of times. Yeah, plenty of times. It's white people who are around their black friends that say the word around their black friends.
What do you think?
I think that person is corny. I don't think that person like. I don't know how I feel, honestly, because it's like at one point it's just like they want to be down, they want to be black, but at the same time it's like you're not. So like I have more respect for like people like you or Tyson who are like you can immerse yourself in the culture and still be like this is a line that I draw like this because I'm still myself.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you have no problems with being yourself regardless of whatever
who your friends
That's
are.
how I know you have like. True morals and values. The things are not just going to manipulate and change because of the situation that you're in. You're going to be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Regardless. I don't say it in the car by myself when I'm rapping.
Right. It's just something that you don't.
I just don't say it because I don't want to be rapping and when I'm with y'all in the car, I'm rapping and all of a sudden it comes out. I don't say it. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Every now and then I'll rap with it, but for the most part. I don't even want it to be something that becomes normal at all to me.
Right. Not even in the vocabulary.
No, not interested in that.
The white dudes that say it and stuff like that, I think, to me, I honestly, if you don't have any ill intent or anything like that about it, it don't bother me for real. I think I'm gonna have my own personal judgments about you. I think you're corny. You'll probably never be a person that I associate myself with on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. But does it upset me? No, it doesn't necessarily upset me. I will say that. As long as you're not using it negatively, then no, it doesn't accept me. At the end of the day, it's just a word. People are going to get it. It's a popular word that's used in music constantly. So people are going to say it. I'm perfectly fine with that. As long as you're not saying it negative, then whatever.
It is like an awkward moment when it happens, though, because it's like, why do you feel so comfortable saying that freely like that,
bro?
It's like what?
Right,
like it's just weird. It just throws me off, and like
some people you'll never expect.
It's never nobody that I'm like straight up friends with. It's usually people I'm around that's friends with them, so they cool with it. So then it makes me feel like I'm awkward if I address it. Cause like ain't nobody else saying nothing about it. I was like, yeah, y'all hear this white dude saying nigga free. Like, what's going on?
I know this like straight like super white girl. Super like fucking.
I might know who you talking about.
You probably don't. But like as white as you can get, don't understand like much things related to black struggle unless she's seen it, on TV or heard of the music and all of that stuff. Like it has no comprehension of what these things actually are. You know what I'm saying? Only knows what she knows, and that's just her nice white life. But
a nice white life.
I've heard her one time when she was giving me a ride, and this is something that she used, and it wasn't even like I could tell this is something that she used frequently. Oh, because it just rolled off the tongue. It's like so somebody was crossing the street and it was like, nigga, go. And I was like, oh, shit. And I didn't even necessarily react to it because it rolled off the tongue so smooth. I'm like, oh, this is something you do.
It throws you off, though, right?
Yeah,
initially, it's like, damn,
But I mean, like I said, you didn't mean it by any way. It's just that this is kind of what you want to be on the inside. That's how I take it.
Right.
I think, again, I think it's corny.
That's
to a certain extent,
bro.
But it's like, I don't know. It is what it is.
I'm gonna try to make this quick. I had one situation where an ex-girlfriend, and you can tell this is relatively recent because it was me, her, and Max at her apartment. We were about to go swimming because they got a pool at their apartment. We was listening to music, whatever, getting ready to go to the pool, and whatever the song was, she said it, they're singing the song, like openly, like loud, like she was kind of almost joking it. I don't even know what to say. It was so awkward.
Sounds like it.
I immediately was like, she's part Hispanic. She's a white girl.
Right.
She has some Hispanic heritage.
Right.
Her last name, whatever it might be. She is a white girl.
Right.
As soon as she said it, like the only thing I knew to do was I was like, I have to say something.
Right.
Max is my boy.
Right.
And it's wrong. But I was like, I don't want to blast her either in front of him. Right. I was like, yo, just because you're Spanish doesn't mean you can say that. And like, just tried to keep it moving.
Right.
She went to go get ready. Max was there. I was like, yo, I'm sorry, bro. I don't fucking know what to say. And Max, like, he didn't make a big deal about it. He was like, look, man, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. But that's one of the most awkward situations I've ever been in. I'm like, I'm with one of my best friends and my girlfriend at the time. The fuck do I say? I was really mad at her, and we ended up having a pretty big argument afterwards. But you put me in a fucking weird spot. What are you thinking?
Right.
Like this is the first time you heard that you're not supposed to say this? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, so fucking awkward.
Yeah, and that's where I guess that's where the line gets like weary because like you can have a certain amount of people that don't really care about you saying it, but then you get around people that never heard you say it, and it's like you shouldn't just be using this freely just because the people you hang with don't say nothing. Don't mean everybody else gonna be cool with it.
That's my advice to you. Like, okay, look, in this circle, look, you can say it, and as long as you ain't saying negative, I might think you're a cornball, but I'm not gonna necessarily press you about it. But you better watch where you saying that shit at, because
somebody might whoop your ass.
Friendly as me, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to it, you might get cracked over your head for it if you ain't got your boys around or whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I've been called it negatively too. But I mean, of course, that's a different reaction. So.
For my fellow whites, just don't say it. Don't say it around the black people that say you can say it. Don't say it by yourself. Don't say it with the people you can't say it around. You don't want to have to turn it on, turn it off. Just don't say it. PSA. It's not that big deal. Just don't say it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's good advice.
True indeed.
I think that's solid advice.
It's solid advice. Play it safe,
do, man.
But when you tell people no.
I don't want to keep this going.
When you tell people no, maybe we should.
Then you got the white people that's like, they say it all the time. Why can't I say it? Yeah. And then it's one of them.
That's to create a safe environment for them to say it, so they can get so they can get it all out.
I had a friend that would ask me to say it, would tell me to say it. Like, yo, we're homies, man. Just say it. And I'm like, no, fuck out of here.
Nope.
Yeah, see, that's corny. It's like, why are you making such a big deal out of saying this word, bro? Like, calm down.
And that's where that shit stems from. So hey, look, Like I said, it's a word, man. It's a word.
Well,
Let's talk. Since we talking about nigga, let's talk about the hottest nigga.
Bobby Shmurda.
The hot nigga is out.
I'm glad you did it because I was trying to figure out how to do it. But yeah, Bobby.
Shout out Bobby, man. Bobby is free out here.
6
Him and Rowdy
years,
is
dog.
back. Did his time. Now he out. Shout out to him, bro.
He looks the same.
Yeah.
He does.
He looks
Getting a lot of love. I appreciate all the love he's getting. I really appreciate the
See,
love he getting.
Quavo picked him up on the jet.
And the PJ.
Flew his team out there.
Yeah.
And then I guess they flew and picked Bobby up and went somewhere. They threw him a party.
My
and
rapper
shit.
sent him money.
Yeah. He was getting a lot of love. He was getting a lot of love.
I respect it.
Are y'all excited for any Bobby Shmurda music?
I am.
I am not. I'm going to listen to it like the first.
He was on fire before he went in.
He had 2 songs. Bro.
They was on fire.
He had one that I liked.
One was a good song. Hot Nigga is a good song.
Computers.
What is that?
Computers.
The computer is that some kind of computer love?
That's
remix?
where I watched
No,
the
it's
song.
not.
It was on the computer. That's what he was saying.
I know that one and Bobby Bitch was like that's a terrible song.
Yeah, I liked one song. I'm not
like that
excited
song.
for new music at all, but I also find all this street shit corny, so I don't even care about him getting out, to be honest with
But I mean, people like I guess up in New York and shit, like they really like that GS9 stuff. Do you think he will come back as a drill rapper?
you. Probably.
Is he going
I
to
can see him stepping in
Is he
that way.
coming back on the drill scene?
Probably.
You
I think Rowdy already got him a drill record out
You seen
right now.
the video? Did you share it in the chat? The video of like Bobby Shmurda is saying like him coming out and then his friends trying to talk
yeah,
like
the dudes
rap
made
is
that
different
skit.
now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
Let's get Waka
He's like,
Flocka
get
on the
Waka
track.
Flocka on the track.
Freddie Wap.
Waka Flocka?
Like when Freddie Wap was one of the hottest artists.
He was
in
on
the
fire
game.
when he was out. Yeah, he was.
I saw a bunch of those talking about
That's
he's trying to log into Vine and stuff like that.
Yeah. He probably that's
I
hilarious.
think they legit was him and Rowdy was trying to go on IG Live and they couldn't
I
figure it
did
out.
see that.
They was all confused on how to do it.
I did see that. That's hilarious.
funny.
Yeah, I mean they behind on technology.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like
He's got to go on $1 million worth of game.
Oh yeah,
That's
I can
got
see
to be
that coming.
one of the early stops.
I can see that
what is
coming.
that?
Gilly and Wallow's pod.
Oh, why is that? Why is that?
They've been doing tons of rapper interviews, and they always mix in, the get your life turned around kind of shit. Forget the
that's
street
fact.
stuff. Don't get yourself caught up.
Yeah, I can
this
see
is
him.
a perfect Wallow opportunity
that'd be
to
a
chop
good
it up
pod
with him.
for sure.
I'm sure he. I mean, it seemed like he, like in a different space. I don't really know exactly. I know he got like some RICO charges, so I'm not sure if he was like necessarily really in it. Like I'm sure he was doing something, but he's just necessarily like connected to it, and that's why he got locked up or whatever. But it seemed like he in a good space now. I saw the other day it was offering him a drink in the club and shit, and he's
I
like,
did see that.
"No, I'm good. I got whatever he had in like some tea or something that he was drinking." He's like, "Nah, I'm good." So it seemed like he want to keep a level head.
For now, he's fresh out. Everybody I've known has been fresh out. They have a clean slate, and then a couple months down the line, they start indulging in the vices.
It depends.
Yeah, I mean, after you've
Depends
been
the
alcohol
environment.
free for 6 years, I don't think, even if you're gonna be outside and stuff, like, I don't think it should be a problem for you to be able to resist that.
Yeah, I mean,
You should have enough
mean-
mental.
I mean,
It
sure.
depends.
But after a while, once you get it accumulated and back into the society, you start tapping into different
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, maybe you.
I'm sure he probably ain't gonna be doing no drugs, and I'm sure he's on probation. But
Right.
he can sip a little
Yeah,
bit. He can sip a little
leads to
bit.
those type of decisions. So
Yeah.
maybe until he gets off, he got like 6 years probation. Some shit.
Oh yeah,
like that.
Oh, really?
he got to chill out.
Yeah, he don't want probation
Yeah,
for
he
like
got to
6
chill.
years.
He got
I
to
didn't know
chill.
that.
He got to chill.
That's nuts.
That
Yeah,
is.
I think something like that. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's like a Meek Mill probation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother sentence.
You can't do
outside
shit. You
of
can't
jail.
Papa Willie out here in the streets.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
back
So
in
he
jail.
he gotta calm it down, keep it cool. So he won't
Let's
get put
go,
back
yo,
in.
man. That's how you come home. If you do, or if you do get like some RICO charges and shit, you don't do it like 6ix9ine. Even though 6ix9ine came back, he did a year or so, but you can see he came back to no love. Nobody fucked with him.
Well, that's a totally different situation.
That's a point
No, it's a very similar
that I like this
situation.
being made of, because we hadn't seen in recent years people come home. Well, we had seen people come home and get their love, but it's like you should be celebrated a little bit more by standing tall on your own and not converting to being a snitch or trying to short some situation to get yourself out when you know you can own up to
Right, I mean, it's just it's
time.
an overall respect thing. Like, he came home, he was respected. Nobody will ever respect 6ix9ine. You know what I'm saying? It's just like.
Well, that's what I meant was different.
Right. They basically went to jail for the same thing.
Yeah.
RICO charges. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just they came home differently, and it's like Bobby always had that love, regardless of whatever he does.
And he had the opportunity to get out earlier. If he would have told some stuff about his peoples, but he didn't.
And he's always going to get that love, regardless of if he ever makes good music again or a hot song again. The niggas in the industry is always going to fuck with a Bobby Shmurda, so he'll always be able to hop on somebody's track or something like that to keep propelling his career. Tekashi's going to have to keep doing Tekashi-like things.
Yeah, for sure.
Be able to, keep his career going. So he'll never get the love. It's never going to be genuine anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Two different scenarios.
Good shit. Shout out to Bobby, though.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Melly got to come home next, man. Melly got to come home next.
I don't think so.
I think Melly going to get out. I
don't know how his situation is going, but
it's going. Yeah, I mean, look, it don't look good from it. But if they ain't got a murder weapon, which I'm pretty sure they don't, then Melly gonna come home.
I don't know. They ain't had one for Aaron Hernandez either.
I thought they
but all the evidence.
But they had all the other evidence that pointed to it. Yeah, and look, he gonna do some time. Like, probably. I mean, he gonna get probably a lot of time served. He's been in there for a while now, but you can catch a couple bodies or a body or so and do like 8 years if they ain't got a murder weapon.
I'm not cheering for a murderer to get out.
I don't know why he killed them, so I assume he had
killed his friends. There's not a good reason to kill your friends.
Exactly,
It's not a good reason.
It had to be a great reason to.
It's a fishy situation. It's a fishy situation. I don't know.
But so yeah,
I hate all that free everybody.
I love his music, man.
I do too.
I like Melody too.
I mean, I'd like to hear his music, but in real life, kill people. I'm good.
Hey, I mean,
not screaming free this dude just because I like his music.
Kodak got a new Jones that's about to drop.
There you go. That's why you really want him free.
Yeah, I mean, that would be just
so is that like the
dope tandem right there?
The right passage for you to like an artist now if they do a track with Kodak?
No,
they end with you because like
always
you totally flipped on Yachty. Like you've been rapping for Yachty like a motherfucker since he did the track with Kodak. It's crazy.
I don't think Yachty is a good artist. I've always said I have respect for Yachty as far as business wise and like what he's done as far as like writing other songs and stuff like that. I don't like Yachty's music.
I've never
said that.
He wrote one hit,
he wrote 2 songs, and then he's been involved in writing. Every song, like I said, a lot of hits.
I just let this go.
If you go by, but I mean, he wrote "Hot Girl Summer" too, and then the other genre.
I don't know if I have as much respect for a rapper writing songs for girls that make just strip club music. But it's not like his pen is so crazy to make them hits. Of course, they would hit records, but it wasn't like, oh my god, the pen on this song was.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Whoever wrote these lyrics is out of here.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but it's still, you have to give him some credit for being able to do. Obviously, he knows the formula. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, we can't just keep on saying that these people are dumb or not talented when they clearly are, because, you know.
I mean, I never say he wasn't talented. I've come up here and said a few songs that I've liked about him.
I can respect him and then not like his music is trash. He has the worst delivery in all of hip hop of all time. You can, both things can be true. That's all I'm saying about him. And that's fair.
It is what it is.
That's fair.
I guess. I don't care. We've had this discussion before. We really don't have time to be honest with you.
Damn, we get to LeBron and you wore the Abraham Avicii shirt for nothing.
It's all good. Still look fresh. Tiger Woods car crash this week. I honestly don't know much about what's going on. I heard they did surgery on a leg or 2 legs, but it doesn't sound good. I mean, it sounds good in that he's not going to die from this car crash, but I would imagine from the seriousness of the surgeries that they're talking about, it's not good for an athletic career.
I would assume. Can you still play golf in like a wheelchair?
Probably not.
Wheelchair.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Probably can't tee off as well.
I don't think he's going to be like
paralyzed.
Maybe putting, but teeing off would be an issue.
I don't think he's going to be paralyzed or nothing.
I'm just saying if he wanted to, rehab while he was go out there and swing.
I don't know. Tiger needs to get him a fucking driver. That's what he needs
They
to
said
do.
he was in a rush.
He needs to stay from behind the wheel.
Is that what it was? He was in a rush?
I don't
I don't know. I mean, I did hear that whatever
The car
tournament he was a part of, like they gave him that truck to drive for that weekend, so it was like a loaner situation. I don't know.
The car is fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, we'll report back more on Tiger Woods when there is more to talk about. A lot of good topics today. I like the long discussions on a couple of subjects rather than all the little stuff, but we missed a few things. We might backfill them next week.
Yeah, for sure.
But anything else that y'all want to talk about here before we wrap up and do the samples?
No, I mean, guess we can go on to it.
All good?
Yeah,
all good.
Good, man.
Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you watching. We'll be back next week with episode 90.
What's up?
Peace.
Peace.